So apparently the 2010 IT bags are already due for a comeback, and it's been like literally 2 years. So stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome. If you're new to my channel, my name is Caleb, and on here you're going to find a lot of things like luxury shopping, reveals, reviews, unboxings, luxury travel, daily vlogs, pretty much anything that has to do with life and style, you're going to find right here on this channel. So before we go any further, you know what to do. It's the same drill literally every week. Subscribe, hit the like button, say hi down in the comments, turn on the bell icons, that way you're notified when we post new content every Wednesday and Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time. Find me over on Instagram, caleb.snell.designer. Grab a drink, kick back, relax. We are going to be discussing some very hot news today. This is not an episode you want to miss. As any well-informed citizen of the world, I too enjoy reading the news with my coffee, and one of my most trusted news sites is the PurseBlog. I'm just kidding, like, lame. Anyway, the article that I found on PurseBlog is, are handbags from the 2010s due for a comeback? Do they literally mean bags from 2 years ago? Because we're still talking about most of these bags. Am I wrong? I think that, and the article also points this out too, that fashion has such a fast turnaround time, because now not only do you have like social media influencers, you also have celebrities now as well on social media. So we have all this like information like being fed to us like 24/7, and it's just making fashion that much quicker. The cycle of the turnaround time, it's truly evident in fast fashion these days, and unfortunately, whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I think it's also spreading over to luxury items like the designer handbags that we all know, love, and obsess over. I mean, that's why you're on this channel. Hello. Little Balenciaga moment for you today. This trend, so like we've gone through the 90s, we've had our, our Prada re-edition 98 or 95, whatever. We've had the 2000s Prada re-edition. We've seen a comeback of the multicolor from Louis Vuitton. I have a couple pieces myself. The Balenciaga Moto bag, which is chef's kiss, the most amazing style ever made. I don't care who you ask or your opinion. They're the best bags. I'm very biased, but Balenciaga is my favorite. Givenchy, I've added the Pandora to my collection, and now I've got to start shopping for 2010's bags. It never ends. The PurseBlog, they're saying, a lot of these bags, they're coming back. They're poised for another revival. And like, quite frankly, a lot of these bags that came out in 2010, though, we're still buying and we're still talking about. Hello, Gucci Marmont. Celine bags, still a perennial classic in most wardrobes. The Yves Saint Laurent Sac du Jour, the Loewe puzzle bag, chief among them. Like, we're talking about this bag like it just came out yesterday. Everyone's got to have one, and here it's been out, I think, since 2015 is when this bag came out. So apparently, we're ready for a Loewe reissue, I guess. So I want to dive in today, and we're going to take a look at some of the IT bags from the 2010s. Just kind of like see what it's all about. Like, are these trends that we want to get back into? What kind of defined this era of handbags and just style in general? So many unanswered questions. Let's start out with the decade as a whole stylistically. So the 2010s brought us kind of a revival of like a more clean aesthetic grunge vibe, if you know what I'm talking about. We were all in all black, just very minimal vibes, minimal branding on our handbags. The 2000s Y2K era was all about like color and vibrancy and in-your-face logo mania, which is like kind of my vibe, 100%. It's not a secret. The 2010s were the exact opposite. Lots of black, lots of stark colors, neutrals, creams, beiges. It was almost like the 90s all over again in a roundabout way, I guess. And when it came to handbags, it was incredibly tailored, very structured. It was all about the craftsmanship and the construction of the bag. Think Phoebe Philo era Celine bags, like the Luggage Tote. Chief among them, like this handbag kind of identified the early part of that decade. Everyone had one, everyone wanted one. It's 2022 and I still want one. Zane doesn't like them, that's why I really don't have one yet. Anyway, one day. Celine, I think, also really dominated this era, because not only did we have the Luggage Tote, which was so popular, we had the Celine Trio, the Celine Trapeze, then we had the Knot bag. Like, the 2010s were the time to be a Celine bag. So I think it's going to be fun. Let's break it down year by year and discuss like the IT bag from that year, and then I'm gonna, find some on Fashion File for you as well. So sit tight, let's dive in. All right, so to kick off the decade, think back, it's 2010, and the Celine Luggage Tote just came out. It took the fashion world by storm. They literally could not keep these on the shelves in stores. And back then, color blocking was a really big story amongst like contemporary and luxury bags. Like you had to have like the tricolor, the bicolor. And a lot of people lovingly refer to the Celine luggage bag as the robot face bag, which I mean, they're kind of not wrong. The one that I've chosen for you here on Fashion File is the smooth calfskin nubuck mini tricolor luggage in alizarin. Probably said that all wrong, but I don't care. So this bag currently is selling for $850. Now the one that I'm showing you is technically a 2015, but bear with me, imagine it's 2010. The 2010 ones look a little sad at this point, but this bag is absolutely stunning. I love this bag. It's lined in leather, the 3 colors. It's just a fun pop, and quite frankly, I really like the Phantom style with like the really big wings. That brings me to my next point, gussets. Like those big gusseted totes were huge for the 2010s. We still see a lot of that carry over today in some of our newer current bags as well. This bag, it is absolutely gorgeous. The one on Fashion File here doesn't come with any like dust bag, this, that, or the other, but it's an iconic bag. $850 for a beautifully Italian-made designer handbag from Celine of Paris. Can't go wrong, kind of a good deal. And even though it says mini, it's still a pretty good size. Its longest length across the top is going to be 18.25 inches. It's a big boy. So in 2011, we were introduced to one of Karl Lagerfeld's most iconic recent designs. This was released in the fall/winter of 2011 for Chanel, the Chanel boy bag. Whether or not you're still loving it, you know, 11 years on, a lot of people are kind of like over the Chanel boy. I like it. I just think that they're, from what I've seen in reviews, because I don't own a Chanel bag yet, but what I've seen in reviews is that the corners, especially in the front flap, can be a little bit hard to maintain. It is a rigid and structured bag, so I think that, you know, bashing into corners is not going to be the greatest thing. However, it is still possible to find some in pretty good condition. So the one that I found for you guys is on Fashion File, of course. This is the calfskin quilted double stitch new medium boy flap in black for $39.95. USD, of course. This bag, it's gorgeous. I love that classic kind of ruthenium hardware. It makes it edgy because the 2010s were all about like that androgynous, kind of like grungy, but still polished look. Imagine this with like a pair of Valentino rock stud flats and you've got like 2015, you know, wrapped up. It's iconic. It is a look. I love the lambskin leather, especially because it kind of has that like aged look on this bag, which again, street style was coming to the forefront of fashion during the 2010s. You're gonna see more edgy, more kind of fashion forward vibes too from this decade. And I think the flat bag is just, it's a really good snapshot of the earlier time in that decade when, I don't know, you could just like, I just see this on Tumblr, I guess. Fashion Tumblr or fashion Pinterest, 100%. It's giving me some throwback vibes. I'm here for it. Aside from the Celine bags, one of the most iconic bags for this era was the Givenchy Antigona. Again, another bag that Zane doesn't exactly love, so I don't have one yet. You're thinking to yourself like, oh my gosh, Caleb, just buy what you want. I'm like, thank you, I know, I should. But the Givenchy Antigona is an absolutely stunning bag. I like it. I think it's starting to show its age. Don't shoot me, I said what I said. I think that you can still get this vibe, but with a very updated look, especially if you go for the mini size. So I've chosen for you guys the Shiny Lord Calfskin Mini Antigona in black. It's on Fashion File right now for only $13.95. This bag is nearly flawless. There's a few scuffs and marks, which you're kind of going to expect. And another thing too to keep in mind with this bag is like the zipper. You're going to scratch your hands up on the zipper. It is a given. It is just one of the cons of ownership of the Givenchy Antigona. And a lot of them too have that kind of weird fiddly strap, you know, attachment where it doesn't really fall off a whole lot, but it can still fall off when you're walking around. So something to consider. This bag, it is iconic. So when you think of that era, you're thinking of like Celine. Givenchy comes to mind because we're still kind of riding the wave of the Pandora and the other things going on at Givenchy at the time. The Nightingale, of course. Well-constructed, well-structured, polished bags with very minimal branding and stick to subtle neutral colors, and you literally have the 2010s. Like, it doesn't get any easier than that. It's a pretty easy aesthetic to master, quite honestly, maybe because it was only 2 years ago, but nonetheless, I'm going to butcher this when I say it, but 2013 was the rise of the Manure Gavriel bucket bag. Like, oh my gosh, you saw this bag everywhere on Instagram, on, I don't know what social media we were using at the time, Pinterest, Tumblr, all that stuff. And it's a vibe. I like that it's understated. Again, it's going to fall into all of our classic design cues of the 2010 it bag. It's a bucket style, so like you literally cannot get much easier than that in a handbag, right? And these don't have like the world's greatest resale value. Like, they're not very expensive to start, but they really don't have the best resale value. So you can get these for like literally under $200 on Fashion File. So here's a Saffiano mini bucket bag in black. Fashion File, $195. Hello, it's going to be the best priced handbag that I probably talked to you guys about all month, so you're welcome. Now, the next year that we were, vibing, we're seeing things coming out is 2014, and I cannot believe that it has already been 8 years since this handbag or clutch was released, but it is the Louis Vuitton Petit Malle clutch. I'm not gonna lie, for the longest time I thought you actually opened it like a trunk, so when I actually saw it in person I was low-key disappointed that it just kind of opened up like a normal menagerie or whatever you want to call it. The Petit Malle comes in so many different colors, materials. It's really kind of like whatever fits your style the most and go with it. But we're going to talk about the most classic one, and this is the monogram Petit Malle in black, currently on Fashion File for $43.95 USD before tax. And I mean, I loved this bag when it first came out, and I appreciate it on other people still. But at this point in the game, do I want to, spend that much money on a bag that's been out for 8 years? No, probably not. But it's still really cute. I think this would be a great bag for weddings. I do like the lining, even though it doesn't open up how I would love to see it open up. The lining's super cute. These are great for parties, events, theater, gallery openings, the art museum. It's a good little bag to have. It is very versatile. You can go from day to evening with it. So it is a very useful piece. It's just, that is a big asking price for an 8-year-old bag, like we've seen it. Still love it though. Don't get offended if you have one. It's just not my jam. Now, this brings me to 2015. Now, 2015, you're like, oh my gosh, that was like 7 years ago, but like only 7 years ago. We saw the rise of the puzzle bag from Loewe. I slept on this bag for a few years. It wasn't until really 2010 when it really caught my eye and I kind of wanted one. And then it was just too late for me. I told myself when we were in Spain, Loewe is a Spanish brand. I would pick up my Loewe medium puzzle bag when we were there because they have an outlet in La Roca. If you haven't already watched it, my La Roca Village outlet, video, and haul, link down below. Now, the Loewe puzzle bag, it is a perennial classic, I think. It's one of those bags that is so unusual that it will just forever be in style. You know what I mean? Like it has that something to it. It's familiar yet fashion forward, and I think that really goes into creating like an iconic it bag that really stands the test of time. And the Loewe puzzle bag checks all those boxes. Vibe check approved. So the one that I found for you guys that I'll link down below, all the bags I'm talking about today obviously are linked down below, is the calfskin medium puzzle bag in tan, which currently retails on Fashion File for $24.95. A little bit below retail. I think retail right now for these is like, what, $29.3 almost? This bag is gorgeous. I love the tan that Loewe does, and it's a gorgeous bag. I love the weird handle, the zippers. Also, like, find an older one that has the feet on the bottom, like those really cool diagonal feet. It is a vibe. I love this bag. It's the perfect size. I keep watching reviews here on YouTube of other people with their Loewe puzzle. I'm like, why isn't that in my collection? Like, does this not have Caleb Snell written all over it? Why don't I have a Loewe puzzle bag? Oh, I know, because La Roca outlet did not have any in stock when I went. Well, classic ones. They had like some seasonal ones, but if I'm gonna spend that much, I want a classic one first, and then I'll go for the seasonal stuff, I guess. I don't know. I just need to bite the bullet and get a puzzle bag. That's all there is to it. Next bag, you're like, okay, Caleb, we've talked about it. We get it, puzzle bag. Like, there's 1,000 reviews here on YouTube, and you're not wrong. So then the next year, 2016, brings us to the House of Gucci. So I think Alessandra Michele took over Gucci in, 2015? Like, it's been a good minute at this point, and I'm ready for something new. I said what I said. Love you, Gucci. Don't hate me. And the Marmont bag. I have a Marmont bag. You have a Marmont bag. He has a Marmont bag. Everybody has a Marmont bag at this point. And listen, real talk. I was like, oh my gosh. Before I got one, it's like, okay, kind of basic. Like, we all have one. It's like the starter entry, like, oh, I have a Gucci bag. But until I got one, I didn't truly understand the magic of the Marmont bag until I owned it. Again, another bag I bought in Spain. So Spain luxury shopping vlog, link down below. And I have the 2021 multicolor from last summer, the blue. Gorgeous bag. It's one of my most complimented bags too, by the way, which is crazy. That and like my old Fendi Peekaboo with the denim lining. Anytime I wear those out, guaranteed compliments. Stopped by strangers like, oh my God, where'd you get your bag? Like, again, it's familiar, it's unique. That's what makes a knit bag. I don't know what else to say. It's that easy. So again, we're kind of getting through the androgynous, like everything needs to be black and gray era of the early 2010s. So I think with like 2016 and on, you saw more flamboyant styles, flamboyant colors. I couldn't recommend the Marmont bag enough. I absolutely love it. I have the small shoulder bag, by the way. Like, you've seen my review. If you haven't yet, get one, because if you're like me and you're like, oh, the Marmont bag, how chuggy, how basic, like, trust me, until you own one, you do not understand just how like amazing a Marmont bag is. I've gushed about this bag for too long. So let's move on. So 2017 brought us to Staud, however you say it, Gestad, you know what I mean. So Staud bags they're architectural, they're unique, they're kind of strange. Quite frankly, I love them. I don't own one yet. There's always the opportunity to fix that problem, right? Fashionphile does not carry Staud because it's technically considered more of a contemporary designer, but literally like any unique piece from Staud, and you would literally encapsulate 2016. You saw this on the arms of lots of it girls, influencers, just like pretty much anyone and everyone had a Staud bag in 2016, minus me, because hello, I'm lame, if you haven't already figured that out. And I buy bags from 20 years ago, so that's probably why I'm excited about the 2010s being back in style. So 2018, again, now we're getting to the end of the decade. Like, this is literally 4 years ago. We're starting to see the rise of the mini bag, like the little LBE, little bag energy kind of coming onto the fashion forefront, if you will. And the Jacquemus Luchikito, whatever, was like the icon of this era. Like, everyone wanted this bag or had this bag. I didn't have it. I don't have it. However, I did see like a full-size Luchikito a few weeks ago, and it was a vibe. It was like all white, honestly gorgeous. I kind of wanted to run up and like fangirl over her bag, but it's kind of weird. It's 2022. You really shouldn't run up to strangers, I guess, and say, "Oh my God, your handbag!" I'm gonna look like I'm gonna rob you, probably. Anyway, I love that bag, and it's an icon. Can you fit anything in it? No. Vibe 100. We're here for it. Now, let's round off the decade. We're coming to an end. It's 2019, and it's already on the tip of your tongue. What bag is it? The Bottega Veneta pouch. I love the pouch bag. Do I have one yet? No. Do I lust over them every time I'm at Bottega Veneta or Neiman Marcus? Yes. Every time. I just love playing with the clamshell and hearing it like flop closed. I love the leather lining. I love how squishy it is, and how, you know, those like, if you have one, like, you've probably done this photo, but like you have to have it open with like your Chanel egg hand cream laying down at the bottom and like your Chanel compact, and it's a vibe. And 100% when I finally do get this bag, because I have to find one, I guess, that I love, you better believe that I'm going to have that image on my Instagram, and you all better thumbs up it. I'm just saying, y'all better give it some love. This bag is absolutely stunning. In a perfect world, what would my pouch bag be? I'm so glad you asked. I love how curious you are. Never change. We love that about you. My perfect Bottega Veneta pouch bag would probably be like a color of oxblood. I don't have any red in my collection. As you all know, I'm fairly pink toned in my skin, so I try and stay away from warm colors because it can look a little sad. Or I literally bought a shirt from ASOS a few months ago that I forgot to return. It is literally my skin tone. I put it on and I just look naked, and it is not a vibe. I can get away with like Bordeaux's and oxbloods, like darker, richer shades of red, and that is high on my list. There was a guy here on YouTube, the Purse Prince, I think, and he had on his Instagram an oxblood Bottega Veneta pouch, and I'm like, that's the one I want. Or you could go with like a light, like late 90s, early 2000s shade of like baby blue. There's that foily looking one that people have right now. And you know what? I think that this is the year I finally buy my Bottega Veneta pouch. 2022, and no one's still really talking about it, but nonetheless, I will have one very soon. Right now, I think these are selling on Fashionphile for like $1,600 on a good day. Let's find out. So yeah, these are starting out at like $1,100 at this point. That's kind of crazy, because aren't these bags like 3,000 newish? Maybe I'm making that up. Okay, yeah, I'm getting a pouch this year. Sorry, Zane. So these bags are absolutely stunning. What other bags were big in 2010s? We had the Sac du Jour from YSL. I mean, the Nikki bag, the college bag, were those 2010s? I mean, probably it's only been 2 years. Balenciaga bags, I mean, they definitely carried over into the 2010s, especially once, You know, they had their website up in 2008, so more people could buy them. So I think we saw a lot more of them. Yeah, the twist comes to mind, that iconic LV twist. I would love to have one of those in my collection. Did you know that the original creator of the lock sued them? She designed the bag in the 80s for the LV Epi trapeze bag. Gorgeous clutch. It's on my wish list. It's on my radar. Don't get me wrong. She designed it, and I think she was supposed to be paid for every time they used it, or she had like a really interesting thing in her contract and it wasn't up quite yet, and then they redid that lock on the twist. And Google it. It was a whole thing. It's actually a fascinating read. But yeah, we saw a lot of really amazing bags in the 2010s. So let me know down in the comments, like, what was your most iconic, have to have it bag of the 2010s? Drop it down in the comments below. Yeah, are there anything that I mentioned today that you've forgotten about? I mean, probably not. It's been, what, 12 to 3 years? It's not been long enough, especially with that gorgeous Bottega Veneta pouch. Am I going to put that in my car? Maybe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me today. This was kind of a rambly, video. Sorry, Zane, for editing. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today. As always, it's a blast having you here. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hopefully it's not like rainy and gloomy where you are, because it was kind of gloomy here today. I'm filming on Friday, so what can you do? Thank you all for subscribing. We recently passed 2,500 subscribers. We're into the 26s now, which is kind of amazing. So thank you all. That's really cool that you enjoy my content. So thank you so much. Until Wednesday, guys, have fun, stay safe, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, guys, bye-bye.